Hey folks, welcome to this week's edition of Brush Pile Fishing. It's a cool October morning here in Gadsden, Alabama on Lake Neely Henry. As you can tell, you can probably hear the vehicles. We're at the I-77 bridge getting ready to put in. We're going to do a little dock shooting. This is one of my favorite lakes in the country to do this. So you stay tuned. We'll be right back with Brush Pile Fishing.
Many people look at a lake and feel a sense of calm serenity. Crappie fishermen feel the heart-pounding anticipation of the thump. That's why host Russ Bailey is addicted to crappie fishing. It's this addiction that takes Russ from the Midwest to the Deep South in search of the best lakes, techniques, and patterns from some of the best crappie anglers in the country. Right here on Brush Pile Fishing.
Hey folks, welcome back to Brush Pile Fishing. If you just joined us, we're just getting started here at Neely Henry. And what we like to do today, folks, is really go over the technique of dock shooting or pontoon shooting. So we'll try to go over everything today. And what we're doing, I've got a high-vis gamma line. I've got a 4-pound test. High-vis line is critical for this because you'll see that line will jump when a fish hits it, and most of the time you'll see that before you actually feel it. And if you've got a clear line on, you're going to miss a lot of bites. Or if you wait until you feel the hit, a lot of times that fish has had it, and what you're feeling, he's spitting it out, and you'll miss a lot of fish. So you really want to get that high vis. 4-pound is about all you want to go with. As you can see there, I've got a nice little bow in the line. You don't want that line going straight out. If you've got that little bow, when they hit that, that line will really jump and allows you to see it. Using the power poles today because we're in shallow water, and this is nice. You pull up to a spot, put those down, and basically you're anchored. You're not going anywhere. All right, folks, right now I want to talk about the actual shot or shooting. Because like I say, we want to try to break this down as much as possible because I get a lot of emails, texts, and everything else about the actual art of dock shooting, and they, people want it broke down. So what I'm going to do when I shoot, I let my jig go almost about where my reel is there, maybe a little bit shorter, about right in there. Then what I'm going to do is open up that bail, and I'm going to let that line just rest on my finger. I'm not pulling back on my finger, I'm just letting that line rest with the open bail. Because what happens, I'm going to grab that jig by the jig head, and when I pull that down, that puts the weight on the finger, that holds that into place. So you don't want to pull back with that finger, just let it rest there. And then when I pull that by the jig head, and you want to pull it by the head and not the hook, because you're going to get that hook in your finger if you do, and that will hurt. So grab that jig head. Now, when I pull that back, that's putting that line on that finger, and then when I let that jig go, it comes right off my finger and just shoots. And these poles, this is a Sharpshooter 6, this is specifically designed for dock shooting. So it's made to bend, it's made to let that thing go. The other thing is, a lot of people when they're first starting out, you'll see they'll grab that, and what they're going to do is they're going to take about 5 minutes to sit there and aim and aim and aim. Get into that rhythm. When you get it, pull it, look where you're shooting, and just let it go. The more you do this, the better you'll get. It'll be easier. And the thing is, if you go out in an 8-hour trip, you'll have this down by the end of the day. But don't wait till you get on the water for the first time you try it. Sit at home, set up a chair with 4 legs, start shooting under the chair, or put a 5-gallon bucket up on its side, start shooting into that 5-gallon bucket. Kind of get used to it before you go in the water. It'll make your day a whole lot easier. And like I say, once you have an 8-hour day, you'll have this down. And like I said, don't aim a whole lot, just get it and let it go natural. But that's how we actually shoot. First one of the morning, about a 10-inch crappie. It's a black crappie. Tore that bonehead up. This is actually second dock we hit. First dock we didn't catch any fish off of. This one, that was the first shot underneath, and we get a good 10-inch fish. So let's get back under there and see if this dock's loaded up. Nice fish to get us started. There we go. Here's another one. Get him in here. There we go. Another about a 10-inch fish. And he is warm. It's chilly out this morning, folks, but that fish is warm to the touch. Another about a 10-inch crappie. They're pulling water this morning, and that can make it really tough, especially if you're using light tackle. It's pushing this thing right back at me pretty quick. Got a 1/32 ounce jig head on there with the bonehead plastic, Mustad jig head. And you want something small because you want it to fall slow, but this current with them pulling water is just bringing it right back at me, and there was a miss. I'm using a loop knot. Once in a while, when you miss a fish, make sure you check, because your line will get wrapped around your hook or whatever, and that won't allow it to swim freely, so just check that every once in a while. Get back in there where there's fish are. And I'm shooting clear back there in that darkest water I can find. Doing about a 3 count and popping it, letting it set. And again, you're going to watch that line movement. If you wait till you feel it, a lot of times like that one, I was talking and it's too late because that fish has had it and he's already spit it out. So watching that line is very important.
More fishing to come on Brush Pile Fishing.
Welcome to the world of Mustad, legendary craftsmanship with over 180 years of experience. With advanced designs and technology, Mustad is a name you can trust for whatever you fish for. The long-trusted classic and big game hooks, the innovative ultra-point designs, assortment of tools and jigs, or pre-tied rigs and accessories. Quality and durability are built into every Mustad product. Saltwater giants or freshwater trophies. Make your next trip more memorable with Mustad.
For great fishing, check out Grand Lake St. Mary's. Located in west central Ohio, if you're looking to land bass, catfish, crappie, perch, or bluegill, Grand Lake is the place for you. Check out GreaterGrandLakeRegion.com.
Nearly $500,000 on the line. Oh! And it all comes down to ounces.
1076, going it, Ridge!
Don't miss a second of the newest and richest crappie trail in the country. The American Crappie Trail, presented by Lucas Oil. Woo! Watch Pursuit Channel, Fox Sports South and Midwest for all the action.
We're ready to go now.
The future of crappie fishing is here. The American Crappie Trail.
Love it. Living the dream, folks. Living the dream.
Brush Pile Fishing is brought to you by these fine sponsors. B&M Poles, over 70 years of quality and performance. Mustad, best-selling hook on the planet. War Eagle, built for hunters who love to fish. SUZUKI, the ultimate 4-stroke outboard. Slime Line, catch the fever. Now, a brush pile tip.
Folks, in an earlier segment, I talked about if I'm not using a bobber or a cork, I like to use a loop knot. So right now, I just want to show you how I do that. It's a pretty simple thing. I've got the line ran through the jig head one time, and then I'm going to take that line and wrap it around my fingers. And all I'm doing is pushing that jig through 1, 2, and then a third time. So just pushing it through there. Then I'm going to pull that line, make a loop, tighten that down. You want to wet it, that cinches it, keeps it tight. You'll cut off that tag end, and there's your loop knot. And that allows that thing, the jig, to swim more freely when it's underwater. Takes 30 seconds, you're done, you're ready to fish. I'm in shallow water this morning. I'm only in about 4 foot here. There we go. That might be another good keeper. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, come here. Getting a lot of same size, about 10-inch fish, maybe 11 on this one, but he's pretty healthy. He's got a lot of weight to him. And if you're just looking for some good cleaners, I'll tell you what, the bigger fish you want to throw back anyways, but if you want to put some in the frying pan, that's the size you want. Very healthy fish, pretty color. Just gonna work that slow like I did the last one, folks. When they're real active, you can move them pretty quick and they'll tear them up. Today, with that front coming in, they're not real active, so I'm just kind of slowing it down. And the good thing is, if you catch a few fish off of a dock and it slows down, you've got those fish, you know, carrying on, splashing and everything. Go hit a few more docks. This is one you can always come back to later then, once everything settles down, and probably catch a few more. The other thing is, when hitting these docks, you may pull up to 3 or 4 docks, not catch a fish, and then go to the next one and boom, it's on fire. So can't tell you why some of them hold, some of them don't. Some of these do have brush piles underneath them that the locals will put in. So I'm just kind of popping it and letting it fall a little bit and getting the fish on it. There we go. There might be a little bit better fish if not wrapped. Oh, that's a good crappie. That is a good crappie. So that might be the big one of the morning. About a 12-inch fish here, folks. Nice crappie. All right, folks, let's get back under there and see if we can get another one like that. There we go. Right by the dock pole, that one. Another good fish. He was not hooked good. They're not hitting this thing hard. He was right by the dock pole as I was bringing that out. The other thing with dock shooting, you know, we've talked a lot this morning, we need that sun to come out to push them, you know, in that darkest water. Well, until that sun gets out, that last fish I caught was almost on the outside. He was right by a dock post. So if you don't have a lot of sun, make sure you work that jig all the way back to the boat, because a lot of times they'll be setting just outside the docks because they don't need that shade right then.
We put the Rockport Rattler to a real test. 2 champion anglers using 4 rods with the competition jigs against 4 rods using the Rockport Rattler. The result, the Rockport Rattler outfished the competition 10-1.
Rockport Rattler Gray Head.
His patented rattling jig contains a rattling chamber in the body of the jig. The rattle is amplified by using water as a conductor,
Rockport Rattler.
making fish hear it at much greater distances, just like a dinner bell for fish.
If you don't have a Rockport Rattler, you ain't catching crappie.
Driftmaster Rod Holders. Whether you are pushing, pulling, or organizing, Driftmaster has you covered with products that are made in America. We can rig any boat for any technique from front to back. Driftmaster, for the way you fish. Get ready, get registered, and get qualified for the 2019 Cabela's Crappie USA Classic hosted this year on Old Hickory Lake, Gallatin, Tennessee. Crappie USA, the largest crappie tournament organization in the world, is giving you the chance to compete for over $100,000 in cash and prizes, including 2 Ranger boat packages powered by Mercury and Minn Kota in our amateur and professional divisions. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a beginner, take your fishing to the next level at the Cabela's Crappie USA Tournament Classic. B&M Poles, the #1 crappie pole company in the world. Whether you are jigging, trolling, pulling, or pushing, B&M has your pole. 3rd-generation family company with over 7 years experience. Home to the Bucks Graphite Jig Pole, the first and best-selling graphite jig pole in the U.S. for over 35 years. Visit bnmpoles.com for yours today.
Gadsden has something for everyone. For outdoor enthusiasts, there are plenty of opportunities to explore the city's beautiful natural features at Nakalula Falls, the Coosa River, and Neely Henry Lake. The area also hosts a variety of fishing and bass tournaments throughout the year. Gadsden is home to numerous cultural attractions such as the Gadsden Museum of Art, Imagination Place, and the Mary G. Hardin Center for Cultural Arts. Alabama City's Ritz Theater features wonderful productions from the Theater of Gadsden. Summertime brings exceptional performances from the Gadsden Symphony, the Etowah Youth Orchestra, and the Summer Concert Series at the Amp. Every August, Gadsden hosts the world's longest yard sale at 690 miles long. The sale spans from Gadsden to Hudson, Michigan. Come on downtown for DGI's First Friday at the beginning of every month and enjoy plenty of live music, food, and fun. Visit today and discover all that Gadsden has to offer.
Now, a brush pile tip.
Okay, folks, so today we're at Neely, Henry. This is a lake I fished for probably 25 or 30 years, especially this time of the year. The fall for dock shooting is phenomenal. We've had 100 crappie day several times down here, if everything's right. Now, this morning it stayed cloudy. We really needed the sun come out. Once it did, it pushed those fish under the docks. The other thing we had going against us today, they were pulling water pretty hard. It's went down over a foot since we've been on the water. That can make the fishing tough, especially in shallow water conditions. The deeper fish, it may not affect quite as much, but these fish right along the bank, it can really shut them down. So you really got to work and pay attention to what the fish are telling you. One of the things in the winter seminar series that I talk about is fishing is just like any other sport. If you want to get good at it, you've got to spend time on the water. That's how you're going to get better. It's practice, practice, practice. When those fish are hitting like those 100 fish days, anyone can get out there and stumble into them and catch a mess of crappie. But if you really want to refine your techniques, tough days like today, this is when you need to be out there, because now you've got to pay attention to what those fish are telling you. You've got to figure out how to get them to bite and what they're wanting. So on the tough conditions, when most people are going to stay home, that's the days that I suggest get out there and refine your techniques. There we go. That's another good fish. Another good one. Heck yeah. Another good fish. They are healthy too. Good, thick, good color, and still warm to the touch. The air was cool this morning, but the fish are warm. Like I say, we're fishing about 71-degree water temperature. And the fish are just starting to move into this shallow water. Getting ready to get fattened up for winter. Right now I'm gonna try to trick these fish. I've caught a couple more and it's kind of shut down. So I'm gonna throw something a little bit different at them. Went to a stump bug. Same color, because that color's been hot this morning, but just a little bit different looking jig. Especially in that current, it may look different to them and trigger a little bite. There we go. First time on a stump bug. Not a big one, but it's a crappie. And again, the bite had shut down, just a little bit something different in that current, and it triggered them because we had had several casts with no bites. Just made a move. The last dock we hit, we switched up and threw a stump bug, caught a couple fish. We caught some nice crappie out of this dock earlier and then it shut off, so we're going to show them the stump bug too, just something a little bit different. See if we can trigger a bite or two in here. The other dilemma with the water moving that strong underneath, you want to stay with a light jig head. I like, I've got a 32nd on here now. You know, I talked about Daryl Baker earlier. He likes a 1/24th, a 1/48th is a good one. You want something that's going to fall really slow, but the problem is with this current being so strong, it's hard to get that thing down there. So what you're going to need to do is give it extra time to fall, because if you didn't have the current, it would fall a little bit quicker than now, but that thing is just taking it downstream, so you really got to give it time. Off camera, my cameraman and I was talking, because he's always heard crappie just feed up. That's true most of the time, but that doesn't mean the crappie won't be laying on or very close to the bottom. And that's why you're popping that off the bottom. You're bringing it up about a foot and then letting it fall back down. And that's what's getting their attention.
Stay where you are. More brush pile excitement is coming up. War Eagle Boats, the most versatile line of hunting and fishing aluminum boats available. We strive to overcome real hunting and fishing obstacles, which drives us to create better products in the future. Check out the Blackhawk 2170, the ultimate crappie fishing boat. Built on a 22-degree V-hull and paired with a 150 horsepower motor, you get lots of space and performance. All War Eagle boats are built to suit the needs of our customers, guaranteeing you a boat worthy of the investment. Visit wareagleboats.com to get yours started today.
Introducing NKT.TV, a brand new solution for the cord-cutting generation. With NKT.TV, viewers enjoy viewer-specific programming with the ability to pick and choose the channels you wish to subscribe to. Missed brush pile fishing this week? Catch it on NKT.TV, along with all your other Pursuit Channel favorites. NKT.TV offers dozens of network and channel options for you, the viewer, to choose from. So go ahead, cut the cord, and get everything you want with nothing you don't. Visit NKT.TV today.
This episode of Brush Pile Fishing is brought to you by Neanderthal Coolers, Southern Pro Tackle, Bonehead Tackle, Crappie USA, NKT.TV, Driftmaster, Gamma Line, Power Pole, Grand Lake St. Mary's, Brush Pile Fish Attractant. Let's check in with Russ for the Brush Pile Gear Check.
Hey folks, right now it's time for a brush pile gear check. Pretty simple rig we were using today. We'll start out with a rod, the good old B&M Sharpshooter 6, specifically made for dock shooting. You seen I was putting a nice bend in those, zinging those jokers about 20, 30 foot back. Great rod. Now, as far as the reel, we went with the Diafuego 1000 series. Nice matchup for this rod. Now, on the line, we went with a high-vis Gamma 4-pound test. And folks, you definitely want to go with a high-vis, and I wouldn't go any more than the 4-pound. We'll explain a little bit more on that later. Now, those fish we caught today, most of those were right off the bottom. We were just skipping that jig. So I went with a 1/32 ounce Mustad jig head, and we went with the slim sticks, and we caught a few on stump bugs by Bonehead. This color here, this purple shad, was absolutely dynamite. It's one of the only colors we could get them to hit on today. So that's today's gear check. There we go. There's another one. Not bad. Not bad at all. Another good fish here, folks. Now things are good here in Alabama. Fish are biting a little bit. The weather finally warmed up. I do want to give a big shout out to Brown's Marine, because last night we got here, wanted to do a little pre-fishing, and we had some electrical problems. We couldn't get it figured out. They got us in at the last minute, went to our boat right away and got us back on the water so we could get today's show taped. And I sure appreciate what they did for us. There we go. Here's another one. Might be a little bit better fish. And you can see here where we're shooting, there's not a lot of space under there, but that's where you need to be. And a lot of guys won't even try to fish that. I'm not feeling those hits. I'm seeing that line jump first. Sometimes if you wait till you feel it, it's too late and that fish is already let go. You've got to set that hook right away.
Now, a brush pile tip.
Folks, today we're at Neely Henry and the fishing's been a little bit tough. They're pulling water. It was hard just to get your jig head to fall down, so you really had to pay attention on the little things. One of the things is color. You know, you've heard us talk a lot of times, it doesn't matter what you throw, the fish will hit it, and there are other times they are very specific on what they want. Today it was the purple shad color, about the only color that we could get the fish to hit on. And not only the color of the bait, but we would throw this slim stick by Bonehead in that color. We would catch a few, it would shut off. When it shut off, we would switch. Now we would stay with the same color because that's the only one we could get, but we would go with just a little bit different style. We went with a stump bug. And again, it's not a whole lot of different, but just enough, it would get those fish to hit again. We had to switch back and forth several times a day, and the slim stick outperformed this one today. However, there are other times this is dynamite. So again, when the fishing is this tough, try every little thing in your arsenal to try to get them to bite. We did that today, and it ended up being a pretty good day for us. We had a live well full of nice fish. There he goes. That time the line just started getting a little bit tight. Oh yeah, come here. Not a bad fish. Come here. Look at there. Another good one. Again, about a 12 and a half inch crappie. But I hope you enjoyed the show today. I hope you learned a little bit about dock shooting. It's been a blast. I always love coming down to Neely Henry. If you're a dock shooter, get out here and give it a try. If you want to try shooting docks, there's no better place to learn because there are so many down here and the shallow waters really hold these fish. So I hope you enjoyed it. You stay tuned because we'll be back next week with brush pile fishing. Oh, no, that was not a miss, folks. That was getting caught on a dock or something.
For more brush pile fishing excitement, find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.